Hey there, it's Katie Jarvis with Managing the Mess. In this video, I'm going to talk about strategies to help English language learners be successful in the art room. If we haven't met before, I'm a K-6 elementary art teacher at a Title I school just outside of Washington, D.C. The school that I teach at is extremely diverse. We have about 40% Hispanic students and about 28% Black students. Of our student population, 39% of them are English language learners. Now, what that means is it means English is their second language. They speak another language potentially at home, and when they come to school, they are still learning English language. Some of them also are new to our country and they're acclimating with that as well. One of the easiest strategies that I implement in my classroom is vocabulary. So I structure my lesson that I give the objective of what we're doing for that day, and then I go into vocabulary. And my vocab is broken down with pictures or photos. So if we're weaving that day, I'll have the word loom up on the board and there'll be a picture of what a loom is. You can't just get into teaching your lesson with English language learners when there are words that you're using that they have no idea what they mean. You have to give a little bit of context to what you are talking about. So I would break down each supply that we're using and the name of what we call that supply. Routines are extremely important for helping students to be successful within the art room for all learners, but especially for your English language learners. Having the repetition of seeing you do the same thing over and over and say the same directions over and over really helps them and gives them a very easy entry point for them to participate in your classes. Now, the most important routines I feel like in the art room are that entry, when you're introducing a lesson in the very beginning of class and also at the end of class when you are cleaning up and lining up. Now, don't worry, I've got videos all about those and I will link them in the description down below. We're lucky that art is extremely visual, and I found that my English language learners really enjoy my class because of that. They can understand what's going on, even if they don't understand our words. Now, I like to teach with slides. So in my slides that I project at the beginning of my class, I have videos embedded, videos that I have taken where I'm showing myself doing the project. I also have lots of photos of around my room where things are and how you get those materials out. I have handouts a lot with photos instead of just words for directions. I do a lot of visuals within posters, and I show a lot of examples within my slides, but I also hang up my teacher example. That really helps the English language learners to be focused in on what we're doing for the day, and you're able to point to yours and reference things if they have questions. I also like to create very, very simple rubrics so that students understand what we're trying to achieve and mistakes that we're trying to avoid. So for example, with pinch pots, I would show them a really nice pinch pot where the walls are even and the same all the way around. And then I would show them some mistakes. Now, this is not meant to hurt anybody's feeling, but without words, it's a simple way for me to get the point across about what we are trying to do and then things that we are trying to avoid. I would do this with weaving, with coloring, all different mediums, and showing what that good craftsmanship looks like and then other things that we are trying to avoid. They may not understand my words, so those visuals really help. Partner up your students to help these new English language learners that are coming into your class. And it doesn't even need to be someone that definitely speaks the same language as them, but you need to guide the student as to how to be a helper. I know many of my students have little brothers and sisters at home, so when they see a new student, they want to baby them and do everything for them. I often have to remind them that these students are not blind. They have seen the directions, they have, a pretty good idea of what's going on, but they need someone to sit next to them and to model what to do, or to show them that they walk and get the scissors and do that alongside of them. Also, sometimes I will work next to these students, especially if they are new to the country, and I will model what I'm doing, not on their artwork or messing up their art, but doing my project right next to them so they can see that modeled as well. I allow my English language learners to use their home language to communicate with other students in the class, but also if we're doing a planning sheet or an exit ticket, I allow them to write in their home language to help them feel more comfortable. Talk with motions and expressions. Not only does this make it more fun for students and make it more interesting, but it gives your students context. At the beginning of each of my classes, we recite the rules. And along with the rules, we do hand motions. I got this from whole brain teaching. So we would say rule number 1, listen when the teacher is talking. And those hand motions done along with the words gives more context to those English language learners to figure out what is being communicated. If we were talking about warm colors and cold colors, exaggerating that when you talk about it also helps the learners to make that connection and to understand what you're teaching. When you're choosing your projects, make sure you're using a variety of artists and you're representing a variety of artwork from different countries, highlighting the ones that your students are from. It's often really nice to use flags of different countries. Students have a lot of pride in that, and they feel very excited to have that connection to what's going on in the art room. You want to be very consistent and simplify your directions. Be consistent with the terms that you use. If you tell students when they go back to their seat, they can color the border, but then when they get back to their seats, the paper says to decorate the outside edge, that can be really confusing for students. Even though in English, this means pretty much the same thing, they're decoding each and every word that you're saying and that they're reading, and it makes it very confusing. So you can simplify things by making sure that you're always using the same terms for things and trying to explain it in the same way. Use a lot of pictures when you teach and make sure that you're breaking steps down. You might show all the different steps of sewing in a video, but then you'd want to break it down and show maybe step 1, 2, 3, and 4 up on your screen. That's how you would thread the needle so that students could come and sit up close on your carpet and they could take a little look about what they needed to do for those first few steps to be successful.